Now, I've been convinced through various worldly events that single moms are inherently the Antichrist. And we're going to discuss that in today's video. I don't think that if any of you guys have ever dealt with a single mom yourself, you probably don't need any explanation. You probably already agree with the said statement. And all this might seem somewhat extreme. There's various reasons why these two align. Single moms and the Antichrist. Inherently the same thing. Now, why is that the case? Josh, why do you think this way? Why are you putting such a label on them? Why are you putting all these women in a box? Well, it's not all these women. There's always going to be the outliers, and the few of them that are good women that do care about their significant other or their children or themselves. But have you seen many single women, especially in news articles, especially maybe even your own personal life experiences? They are inherently related to the Antichrist. They share very similar tactics. Not only are they kind of selfish, not only do they kind of stomp through life, not really having much care in the world about other people. They have this mentality of the bad bitch. I need no man. I need nobody else. I don't need anybody ever. And inherently, a lot of single moms, they live off of, or they get a lot of help living through child support. They get help living through government assistance. They probably have bosses at work who are inherently men. Not always, could be women, but they're still living off of company. So they're not fully living on their own. Nobody in life, in reality, genuinely lives fully on their own or off their own free will besides like bazillionaires, and they just maybe get interest every year that they live off of, and then what do they really help out throughout society? Not so much. Now, what is the relatable factors that I think the Antichrist shares with single mom? Well, they share this nurture factor. I mean, what do you do when you're running away from God? You're running to the person who gives you the most quickest dopamine, quickest rush, quickest fill. And if you ever dated single moms, they kind of jump through this relationship stage pretty quickly. They jump straight to the kind of the honeymoon stage almost, where it's like we're laying down in bed, we're kissy-feely, touchy, all up in each other's business, and constantly texting always. So it's almost like this new movie Obsession, where you kind of get a demon in your life. And now it becomes this way because you end up realizing why these women might have lost their significant others in the first place, or why they ended up making these decisions that led them to have children so young or become single mothers in the first place. Now, it's not always the case. There are definitely certain circumstances. There are definitely certain circumstances where maybe just the father died, or maybe, unfortunately, there's been bad events in life where women have children and it's not fully under their own free will. But in terms of all that being said, a lot of the time where you see, especially over in the West, women use abortion almost as like a second-hand birth control pill, which again, not going to say I'm the most educated religious Christian in the U.S., but I do want to say that that inherently is sinful. And when you just don't really treat life as any purpose, it's just kind of something you can just toss off and throw away whenever you want to have a couple of kinky shots or White Claws or vodka, Red Bulls at the bar, go home with whoever guy is probably disrespecting you the most, and then do the walk of shame home, and then act like that's just my hoe phase. Well, when guys have a hoe phase, they get, once a cheater, always a cheater. When girls have a hoe phase, I was just young. And this kind of inherently is taught among society, which I think is kind of what we want at least as society, we want people to be kind of diluted down. We don't want everybody to be these titans, these golems like in Minecraft, where we can kind of just like walk around and kind of protect ourselves and actually know what's going on. We want people to be kind of dismissive and distracted, and we have the screens, we have substances, we have everything except for truth. And now, have you ever actually dealt with single moms? They're not all inherently like this, but a lot of them, again, like I said, they have this bad bitch, I don't need a man, I don't need anybody mentality. And this inherently constantly backfires on them because they find themselves needing other people. The same way that the Antichrist thought he could do everything on his own, and then when he got banished, they always need God. And everybody eventually runs back to God. Now, I'm not saying that I am just this gung-ho God freak, but if we're going to relate with single moms to the Antichrist, we're going to have to speak of God, which is the opposite. There can't be, water without fire. There can't be black without white. There can't be good without evil. So we have to have both contradicting each other. So that's why I'm referring to God, despite you, the viewer, the watcher, possibly being atheist, you might be able to relate. Now, also, think about what the Antichrist does. They want to suck everything from you. They want to suck your soul, your spirit. They want to suck everything that is from you, which is your life. And what is the inherent life force of reality in the world that we know, which we even get told in the Bible, the world is run by the devil? It's money, it's currency, it's finances. And the money in your bank account is inherently your life. It's the time you trade. It is inherently your value, your worth here as a individual. Now, single mothers want to drain that from you. If anything, you've seen this constantly in news articles and court documents where they use children as a vessel to get paychecks, and they almost will use the time where it's like, hey, I really want to see my kid, I really want to, I've been trying my hardest to be a father in my child's life, why will you not allow me to see this kid? And it's because they have this hierarchy. They want to be in control, the same way the Antichrist wanted to be God. He wanted to control the earth, he wanted to control the humans, he wanted to control everything. The same way where it feels like, I don't think many women actually see a 50-50 split. Now, I'm not saying, I was raised traditional. Not every single relationship is inherently 50-50 or traditional. Maybe there is more of a hierarchy, and maybe some people are into that. I mean, to each their own. We all have free will. If you want to be a BDSM couple, you want to call your husband master, that's up to you. But if you want to have the kind of most healthy, picture-perfect mentality, you're going to have mutual agreements. And a lot of single moms, they get this way because they have almost a masculine vibe. They almost have this demeanor where it's like my way or the highway, which again relates to the Antichrist. Now, there's probably other factors I might be forgetting that I kind of jotted down when I was going to discuss this topic, and I think this topic might be a little bit nuanced, and although this might offend some women, this might be related to some men, this might just offend or be related to, who knows who's going to watch this out there. All right, I actually remembered a few more different factors I want to say here. If you were the devil, if you wanted to infiltrate the earth, who would you come back as? You would come back as the most sweetest, most frivolous, the most, this would be a woman, okay? You would be a woman because they're very nurturable, they're very giving, they're very warm, nurturing. They make you want to be like in their arms. That's what the devil would be. Now, also think about the type of guys that single moms go after. They're men who are probably down and out. They don't have many options. They might have ran out of options. Now they have to inherently, this is a lot of their last options left, is picking up on another man's save game, and kind of just, maybe if a guy has went this far without a kid, they inherently haven't got laid, or they have done every precaution to do so to not have their own kid. Now they're opting out to raising another man's kid. That is a low blow to a lot of men. Now, these are the type of men that these women seek after, which is inherently what the devil would do. They would seek after the weakest individual among society, the weakest sheep of the herd, and they would go after them. Now, is this always the case? No, not always. There's definitely men who knock girls up and then they end up just leaving them, and it's always the case. It's not always women's fault. But inherently, think about this. If you were the devil, who would you come back as? Let's leave it at that. But if you have any relatable experiences dealing with dating single moms, maybe you're in a child custody battle right now in the child court case, which, by the way, the child courts, especially up here in the Midwest, are extremely favored for the woman. So who knows? The world is run by the devil, and they seem to be winning. But let me know your personal opinions down below, your personal experiences down below regarding single moms, regarding relationships, and regarding this entire topic of single moms being the Antichrist or being related to and seemingly inherently being the Antichrist. Now, I want to appreciate the handful of you guys who have been checking out the videos. If you want to throw your boy Josh a bone, check out those links down below in the description. Always some of the best ways to support me and continue these videos coming. I kind of changed up the style of videos. I'm kind of doing more of the sit-down topic discussion, commentary, conversation style, but you guys seem to be enjoying this. I have a lot of different topics I want to discuss, and I plan to keep these consistent. So I want to give a huge shout out to the handful of supporters who, again, check out those links down below. Very few of you, but never expected, always appreciated. Feel free to check those out if you have the funds to do so. Just love you. As well as, if you have any other topics of discussion you want to hear me discuss here on the page, feel free to also leave those down below in the comments. I always love to respond to the comments every time I see fit. I'm a couple hundred comments behind, but I will catch up sooner than later nonetheless. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. God bless.